Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mark Entrick, and we are in our weekly Achieving Unity podcast. Thank you so much for joining. It's going to be a great day. We have a wonderful guest, and we'll get to her in just a few minutes. But let's quickly go through the Achieving Unity, ending anger, hate, and prejudice. I know a lot of people don't like that word, but that's what's going around the world too much today. And our special guest today will be talking about kindness and how we can grow that forward. But on the screen right now, you'll see my newsletter page if you'd like to sign up for my newsletter. The QR code's in the far right hand side, but it's also at markintrigan.com/, sign up dash newsletter. Love you to sign up. Let's do more together. And that's how we do it through Unity. Creating solutions one reality at a time. We can transform our world today. Two of the things that I work on is achieving unity through encouragement, inspiration, and inclusion. Another is creating high value solutions through strong, agile experience. And I'll talk to you more about that in a minute. Our Achieving Unity Weekly podcast is on Thursdays, today and next week. But starting in January 2025, we will be on Wednesdays instead. Same time, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. But we are going to move to Wednesdays because I have courses coming up on Thursdays. So look into my site, find out more about the courses. I'd love for you to join. Reality focused dynamics delivers success focused solutions. You can contact us today for more information on using Agile and Lean outside of software. And I know for many people, they have no idea what Agile is, what Lean is. Well, let me tell you just briefly. Agile is the ability to create and respond to changes and improvements. It enables success in uncertain and possibly struggling environments by emphasizing adaptability through better collaboration and communication. Works on the business side, professional side, the personal side. Works all around. We'll touch on that just a second with an example. Lean is a methodology, a study of a method focused on maximizing value by minimizing waste and optimizing your processes, our processes, through continuous process improvement, effectiveness, and efficiency. This philosophy can be used in every discipline, in every vertical, including our homes. Connect with me and I'll show you how to break all issues, all products and services down from the most complex business projects, including rocket science, and have worked for Boeing and Lockheed Martin. But this works in all the basic steps of even training our teenagers. Yes, it does. Let me give you an example. Think of busy mornings at a family breakfast. Everyone has somewhere to go, from work to school to many other events or locations that they have to go to. Have a family stand up meeting each evening before that wonderful morning, during which everyone shares their tasks for the next day. Place sticky notes on the fridge with chores and responsibilities, and each person can move that little sticky note from the to do stack, to do area, over to the done. You can create a breakfast station with pre portioned ingredients and a weekly meal plan. Anytime we minimize that decision fatigue and reducing the time spent searching for items, it can help everyone participate in a smoother and more efficient process. Achieving unity through encouragement, inspiration, and inclusion. Encouragement can be that powerful force that fuels the core of empowerment because it gives you that power. You can encourage others to help accomplish the task. So your empowerment. You can inspire each other to achieve every goal. Unity makes a successful team. You can include others. Celebrate every victory, both personally and professionally. Together, we can overcome every challenge. Every challenge. We can do it. We can do it together through unity. Do you know someone's facing relationship challenges or maybe parenting difficulties? Are you, someone you know, struggling with that relationship issue, or maybe there's some parenting time issues as a divorced or divorcing parent? Transform that frustration into understanding with what the frustration? Where is the value in our actions? Let's turn it over from the frustration into mediation. We can do that. We must realize that anger holds no value. Anger is just actions not gaining effective results. ANGER, anger. Actions not gaining effective results. Life happens from personal relationships to parenting time to prenuptial agreements. And any more, the nuptials are not required because many people are not getting married. But we can learn to embrace and enjoy every moment and every challenge together. If you'd like to know more about my sites, here are the QR codes, the website home, my website contact page, which is great if you have questions, want to contact me, let me know. I want to hear from you. Our upcoming podcast, Strive to Thrive 2025.com. So one of our domains. That's next week on 12/26. We're going to talk about closing yesterday, 2024, which is where we are now, and opening tomorrow, which of course is 2025. That again is on December 26th. We have no podcast on New Year's Day. We hope maybe you're watching your football games, you're celebrating with family. Hope you enjoy the start of your new year, but there will be no podcast on January 1st. But starting January 8th, Wednesday, we have fresh start, relationships. Amy Scowen is going to start the year off right for all of us. Show us how to get moving. Again, that's January 8th. The next week, we have naked leadership. Shift your mindset. Carol Metz-Murray is going to talk to us on January 15th and help us shift our mindset, get us going the right direction for 2025. Then, the family structure repairment coach, Jamie Bazell, that's on the 22nd. She'll be coming to talk to us about the family and that repairment process and how we can make our world a better place. Today, through achieving unity with kindness, this is what Jill, our special guest speaker, will be talking about. Make kindness the norm. Random Acts of Kindness Week, the RAC Week, takes place from February 11th through February 17th. We have 2 more days of being kind, and then we can take it forward for the rest of the year. But the week is a time to recognize the positive impact that acts of kindness can have on our lives. The Random Acts of Kindness Foundation established the RAC Week in 1995 to celebrate the small things that can make a difference. The foundation also coordinates Random Act of Kindness RAC Day, which is celebrated on February 17th of each year. We can take it from today, it was 2 days ago, but we can remember this for next year and carry it forward. And again, Jill will tell us more about that in a few minutes. Make kindness the norm. Celebrate Random Acts of Kindness Week every week. Now for our special guest. As Jill Lublin says, kindness is a currency that can fuel your success. Specific acts of kindness can increase your income, generate new clients, and help you get repeat customers. Kindness pays real dividends to that bottom line. Those dividends mean a lot. Jill's kindness circles provide participants with an opportunity to network with colleagues who value the importance of kindness in creating greater business success. You see in this book, holding another one of her books, 12 Leadership Powers for Successful Women. Also, when kindness becomes your primary goal, everything changes. How you look at life, what you receive from life, and how others interact with and relate to you and to me, to all of us. The Profit of Kindness, her new book you can see on the right, will help you master building trusting, long-lasting relationships through open, non-adversarial interchanges that result in mutually beneficial outcomes. A basic adjustment in attitude and approach can substantially improve virtually every facet of our life, of your life. Each chapter in this book provides specific examples for improving skills such as communication, building integrity, teamwork, influencing others, and much, much more. So let me bring on Miss Jill Lublin. Jill, give me just a second. I will bring you on here. View so everybody can see you. Pin to first screen. Put this. All this technology takes just a minute to get it rolling. I did that wrong. Sorry. I'll be both pinned to first screen. There we are. Miss Jill Lublin. Jill, thank you so much for being here today. How are you?
I am delighted to be here with you and grateful.
This is awesome. We've talked several times. It's been a little bit since we've talked, but again, it's an honor. I am
Thank
truly thrilled to have you here. But let's start out. How did you get into this? You've got books, you've got your company, you celebrated the kindness last year for many people. I don't know how many years before that. How'd you get into this? What what
well,
what all
well,
do
I
you
have,
do?
thank you. Well, I have been doing publicity and helping people get their word out and create visibility for, gosh, over 25 years. And what I know is that kind companies get more publicity. Hey, right?
Right.
And one of the women that has been a dear friend of mine for many years, I have been helping her in her healing and getting older journey. And one day she looked at me and she goes, "Oh, you are so kind. Wouldn't it be great if we had a new currency?" She said, "The currency of kindness." And I'm like, wow, I love that title. I love the concept. My publisher loved the concept. And next thing you know, my newest book, The Profit of Kindness, was born, literally.
That's awesome. And how is it done? I see so much about it. Have you got a lot of
Yes.
feedback on it? Go ahead.
Oh, it's done very well. I've been in Inc. magazine and Forbes magazine twice. I've gotten in over 7 Fox News radio interviews literally in the first week. That was super exciting. Then every World Kindness Day, which World Kindness Day is on November 13th, and then there is Random Acts of Kindness Week, like you pointed out. Well, let me just say, this last World Kindness Day, I was on 2 Fox News TV shows, one in Dallas and one in the Bay Area, literally on that day. And every month we run kindness circles, literally every month, in November, we had Jack Canfield of Chicken Soup for the Soul fame. You might recognize his name.
Goodness, that name.
Yes. And then we have wonderful opportunities for people to network every single month in kindness with each other. It's quite magnificent.
That is, and that helps people understand because that's some of the things you know, that I work on because something as simple as kindness, it we just don't all understand it. We just haven't brought up in our culture, maybe our learnings. Some people don't know what kindness is or that it can help you. How do you help us understand that better?
Well, in the profit of kindness, we define, kindness. I mean, for me, it's about doing a conscious act of kindness every single day. These are simple things, Mark. I mean, these are, opening the door for somebody who clearly might need help. I saw a woman struggling with a big UPS Christmas package the other day. I'm like, "You look like you need some help." Well, it turns out the big, strong guy right next to her ended up helping her, but I pointed it out. Like he was just sort of walking by, you know what I mean? That's a simple act of kindness. I'm sure she appreciated it. It's the letting someone in front of you. It's paying for somebody's drink behind you at the coffee store. It's whatever it is for you. Checking on your neighbor, sending a handwritten note or a nice text or just something that says, "I'm thinking of you," or "Thank you," or just having somebody know that you're thinking of them. And then we've got some very specific things we talk about in the profit of kindness. But these are really wonderful, simple acts. And again, for me, it's practice a conscious act. One every single day, the world will change.
I love what you're saying, Joe, because I think you gave a great example. just a few seconds ago when you talked about wanting to help that lady. And then when you said something, it triggered someone else that, oh, I can be helpful too. I don't
Right.
think he was trying to jump ahead of you or anything. I wasn't there, of course, but just that magnet that you mentioned, can I help you? Attracted someone else. Big strong guy opens the door. Could have been just someone else, but I think what you did may have intrigued that person. And as you said,
Because
they
I
help.
people kind of walk around with their blinders on a bit and sometimes in their own world, and maybe they're not even noticing what's happening around. And so I just think looking for opportunities to help. I mean, really, I have a neighbor next door, to be honest. I hadn't known her for so many years that I've lived here. One day
Right.
she actually fell and hurt herself in her
Oh
own.
no.
And, I brought her food over. We prepared food and brought it over and, kind of kept checking on her. Well, we have a friendship now, 4 years later. That's just magnificent. That's a wonderful interactive friendship. She's a great baker and she brings me over yummy baked goods. I mean, it's just,
Oh,
which
yum.
is an act of kindness, just saying. Uh, you
It
know,
is.
yes, it is. Oh my gosh, they're so good. And, the reality is like, how can you make a difference for somebody? Just simple, simple things. And I think this is often overlooked, which, by the way, can be also, and I want people to remember their own self kindness, right? That we all go so fast and sometimes we forget kindness to ourselves, to take care of ourselves. What does that mean for you? And it could be stopping, it could be a nap, it could be a bath, it could be a take yourself out to lunch, whatever it is. But what's kind for you?
For me, it's just being able to talk to people and like I talk about encouraging and inspiring and including others. That's one of my largest drives, and it makes me feel good that I
Yeah,
can do that and
yeah,
encourage others to achieve whatever it is they're working for, working with, wanting
yeah.
to do.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and really, I think the biggest thing that people really need to know is that kindness is free. Most of the time, it really doesn't have to cost anything except maybe a little bit of your time, perhaps, which of course, is an important thing to give to people is your time and
I
your heart and caring, and that's really kind. It also can be a really oriented business piece of kindness. And one of the things in the profit of kindness we really looked into was what we created as return on kindness principles. They're called
Hmm.
rocks, and the ROK, because everyone wants ROI, which is important. With
Mhm.
ROK, return on kindness principles, you can get
Wow.
and receive ROI
I like
because of
that.
principles.
I'd like to borrow that from you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that just came out to me as you compared it to the ROI, the return on investment, the return on kindness, right?
Yeah, yeah. They're called rocks,
Rock.
ROK.
Mhm. That is excellent. And one thing that I'm always thinking of examples as I talk and as I speak, and I think people like you help that person with food that was unable, and of course, first people might say, and I might be one of them also, because I'm far from knowing everything, but I don't know near enough. But just that thought of saying, well, I don't know what that person likes to eat. I don't know. I don't want to take them something that they're allergic to. I don't want to, people think on almost like on the negative side up front, instead of taking that random act of kindness, that return on kindness, and just going over there and saying, hi, I see you're in whatever situation. What can I do to help? I mean,
That's
that's
right.
kindness in itself, isn't it?
That's right. And you know what you can do? You can say, is there anything you're allergic to? Is there anything you can't eat? Listen, I saw a post on Nextdoor, right? The app that's out, and this woman was coming home from the hospital and somebody posted she needs things to eat. I don't know this woman, never met her before. And they said, text if you can help. I thought, well, what the heck? I can help. Now, by the way,
Oh, I lost you just a little bit there, Jill.
right, just to remind me too, all of us. And
Mhm.
and Yes, she did put some things. Yes, it changed my menu a little.
Maybe having some broadband troubles.
Almost.
Anyone else having? You're
And
freezing once in a while, Jill.
sorry about that. It's my
That's okay.
internet.
That broadband internet, that speeds, and as I tell people close to me, we never know, but could be something else going on in the area that robs that speed of that internet going across the line. And so yeah, it's just started. She's freezing. So go. Can you just kind of go over your last minute one more time quickly? Because we might have lost a little bit of it. Is that okay?
Sure. So I remember my husband had a hernia operation, and
Oh, ouch.
to be honest, yeah, it hurt. And it was a longer and tougher recovery process than, the doctors told us. And meanwhile, I am, preparing meals for him, helping him do whatever he needs to do, and being the caregiver. Now, I have to tell you, Mark, it's not my ideal job. I mean, that is
Mhm.
a full-time job in and of itself. And I'm running my publicity business and doing my trainings and all the things that I do, my speaking, etc. And
And
I
your
put it,
travels and
yes, and I put out to my community. I'm a member of several organizations. I said I need help, and by gosh, for a full week, meals twice a day showed up at my door from different people who are organizing.
oh,
You know how much that meant. I mean, seriously, saved us time and energy, and I could just serve him. I didn't have to think about making the meals and doing dishes and all those things that, by the way, add a lot of time, as we all know. And I could just focus on him and caring for him. It just was such a relief. And having been on now that receiving end, I personally know how important it is to help people when they have big things, but also just even little things, being cared for, connecting to people, leaving little gifts. I went over to my same neighbor, and she had just put up
yeah.
her first Christmas tree since her husband died, which, by the way, was already 4 years ago.
Oh.
And I know she's lonely and it's, tough time. And I said, I brought over this little gift. She goes, well, what's that for? I go, it's the gift to put under your Christmas tree because I don't see any there and I think you need one.
Oh, how nice. That is kind.
Yeah, and just having fun with it too, because I know she's the type who goes, oh, no, 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 I never need help, which, by the way, a lot of people might say, but you've got to see what you see and just use your own intuition that, it doesn't matter if you think they need help, don't need help, they can eat it, they can't eat it. What matters is your thought and caring.
And that thought and caring, Jill, again, I love what you're saying. And I just appreciate you so much because that thought and caring, that ability to even say, how can I help? Be able to say, what can I do? And open that door, right?
Yeah. And
All
I
of
will
it.
tell you, some people will say, oh, nothing, I don't need help. And they're lying.
They are. We hate to
Because
be blunt, but you're right.
right, because who doesn't need help? I mean, honestly, if you're a human being and living in the life that most of us live, which is fairly quick, and we all could use some help. And who doesn't like some, whatever at your door, whatever it means, some
Mhm.
flowers, a cup of soup, or something to help you. So I just want to encourage each of you to look and see where can you be a better neighbor, be a better friend, be a better client, be a better boss, be a better parent, be a kind, it's all related to kindness. Where can you be kinder? And, this is a really good question to ponder. Like, wow, what's one thing I can do today to be kinder? And again, this means to yourself too. Maybe not beating yourself up so much, or feeling, maybe you take things a little slower and put a little more space in your day, or give yourself a treat of some kind.
That's always good because we all have frustrations. I know my sweetheart and I talk about that a lot because I have a lot of frustrations. So just that little bit of niceness, that little bit of understanding, and that's what I try to help others with. And I talk about that. What the frustration? I think that kicks in for a lot of us. And the things that you're talking about, those random acts of kindness, that return on kindness, that rock, takes away some of that frustration. It
Yeah.
opens people up to some better ideas, their mindset as well, right?
And by the way, one of the return on kindness principles is patience. I mean, think about this, how
Mm.
much more patience that we all need. I'll
Definitely.
raise my hand.
I am so with you on that one. And
And it's
I,
funny,
go ahead.
but I was writing the chapter on patience, and I made a mistake. I called the utility company, took an hour on hold. I'm like, I don't have this kind of time. But I was multitasking, whatever. I found myself getting frustrated the whole time, the whole time, the whole time. I'm like, really? And and you know what? The woman came on after an hour and she said, "Oh, we're sorry to keep you waiting." And I thought, yeah, right, whatever. But the truth is, it wasn't her. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't, she's in the system. I said, well, my joke when people thank me for my patience is, who said I was patient?
That's right. That's, I like that. That's a good point. And like you said, we're doing other things, but we also know, as I mentioned, that frustration, we're on the phone, holding the phone, even if it's a speakerphone, we still have a little bit of that attention that we have to share that we don't usually have to share. And it does impact our patients a little bit. And it makes it difficult. So it's nice when they say thank you for your patience as well, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it can be difficult.
yeah.
Well, these are some great things that you're talking about on the personal side, but from what I'm reading, what you're doing, you've got that kindness as a currency can also help people on the business side. We can incorporate it into our own businesses. Can you help me with more ways we might be able to do that? It looks like you're freezing again. Okay, we can see you move. Yes,
Okay,
there you go.
there we go. There we go. Um, so in the business side, the issue is connecting so that you are away a lot of prizes. I give away Starbucks cards. I give away one of my
Mhm.
books, right? And I keep that excitement going. Um, Flexibility, one of my return on kindness principles, is actually really important in business. Like, in other words, if a client can't make a publicity consultation, am I going to hold their feet to the fire, or can I be flexible? And Mark, I like to say 80% rules. You have to have rules and policies. I think that's appropriate. And by the
Mhm.
way, that's kind because it tells people what they can do and the parameters. And the truth is, 80% of the time the rules work and 20% they don't. So I just think you got to be okay with all of that.
I agree. And sometimes it's so true to have those rules, but we also know that sometimes maybe it's the 80-20 rule, like you're talking about. Sometimes those rules turn into guidelines because the
Right.
rules themselves may not work.
Right. Exactly.
It's good. Well, do you have any, don't mean to put you on the spot too much, but do you have any like memorable examples of businesses profiting directly from acts of kindness?
Absolutely. A couple things. One is look at Honda, the car company.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, but they did a whole bunch of series of kind.
I think you're freezing again.
Something is up,
Okay.
right?
Well, you froze a little bit of that. Can you go over the last 30 seconds, maybe?
So if Honda is investing in major kindness campaigns, believe me, this is a big thing, right?
Hmm.
And then in San Francisco, there's a huge international healthcare company called Dignity Health, and they are running a bus campaign called the Human Kindness Campaign on the sides of their bus. So typically, what we're seeing is that companies who practice kindness, and this is what came out from all my interviews, is that their clients were happier, the CEOs were happier, the culture was happy. By the way, this is
Right.
even for 1 and 2 person companies or small entrepreneurs, with a tiny team or whatever. It doesn't matter. The truth is, when you're a kind company, you're not only going to have happier employees, you also get great publicity. As the author of Guerrilla Publicity, of course, I want to know, how does it impact your reputation? Kind
Yes,
companies get great publicity.
that is true. So much true. But as you talk about that, how can small business owners and sometimes called solopreneurs practice kindness while also juggling tight budgets and maybe limited resources? What can they do?
Well, guess what? Kindness does not have to be expensive. It isn't. It could be as simple, like I said, like send your clients a text saying how much you appreciate working with them. Handwritten cards, I think, are really wonderful. I make sure that I like to send cards on Thanksgiving, that I'm grateful for you.
Oh,
A nice one-by-one call. I just want you to know how much I appreciate working with you. And really
those are nice.
no other agenda.
I like that. And just that, maybe again, just talking to them, just sharing a little bit of time because we all know how valuable time is. So
Yes.
just to give that
Yes.
quick minute and sending cards for Thanksgiving.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
that's pretty awesome. Well, as we talk about this, and as you mentioned, some of this seems very simple, but what are some maybe common misconceptions about kindness in business, and how do we address those misconceptions?
Well, I think some people think that kindness is weak. So, when you're a CEO, when you're an employee, I mean, I can tell you time after time when the employee can create kindness themselves. So let me tell you about a story that's in The Prophet of Kindness. And this was a bread company because his grandmother loved their clam chowder. But you know what? It was a Tuesday, and probably she might be dying the next day. She requested clam chowder. Now, he calls up Panera Bread, and the woman there says, I'm so sorry. I mean, he tells the story. And
Right.
she said, I'm so sorry. We don't have clam chowder till Friday. He said, I don't think she's going to make it till Friday. That woman behind the counter, who was, not even, I think she was the cashier who answered the phone. She said, you know what? I'm going to make your grandma clam chowder. And
Oh,
not only did she make the clam chowder, she actually gave them a tin of cookies. That same
mhm.
woman happened. Can you imagine the great publicity from that? On this,
Sorry, you're cutting out again a little bit. May want to go back over the last 30 seconds or so on that one, if you don't mind.
and the manager who did this act of kindness got promoted to regional manager. So she moved up. Panera got huge publicity. The interaction, the connection, the thing that everybody kept saying was, wow.
Sorry about this. We keep losing it once in a while, and we'll lose you for 15, 20 seconds. Sorry about that. I
No.
worked in technology for many years, and that's when I talk about rocket science in my introduction because I used to work in the telecom industry from US
Oh,
West and MCI, and there's so much data going across these lines today than more than before as it expands. But
wow.
as you talk about that kindness, it it did pay back your currency of kindness. I think you're giving a good example of that. But that's awesome. Can
Thank
you
you.
go ahead? That's just on that process. Say on one of them, your publicity crash course. What led you to create that, and what makes it so impactful? If I were to come to that publicity crash course, how would I benefit?
Well, thank you. And you know what? Even better now, I created something called the Media Mastery Intensive, and it's short boot camp kind of days. We actually have media there, like real people who work in media. They roll up their sleeves, they pitch them, and people get to walk away hearing from media what's working and what's key right now. So that's been really wonderful, and it's really great. The publicity crash course is still going on, and I put the two programs now together as a bundle, and it's just been delightful because I'm really invested in people having practical ways to get publicity out, and that's what we're doing. Practical ways to get your publicity done.
That is excellent. And again, I don't mean to keep running this to the ground, but just Jill, that ability for you to talk to people. And as we mentioned earlier, when you were going to open the door for that person and somebody else opened the door for them, that that domino effect. Once one person does it, someone else will pick up on it because
That's right.
we don't do it enough, do we? So sorry about the technology today. We have some things. I even catch myself echoing when I talk a little bit. So the technology today must be something going on. But again, Jill, that ability to do something, someone else pick up on it, and then they repeat the kindness.
Yes.
That's
Yes, and that is the point because somebody else is impacted, and then you know what happens, right? It becomes a circular motion. And the
Mhm.
truth is, even if it isn't Mark, and just you do that today, I mean, how much better do we all feel? I don't know, simple acts of kindness when we are able to go beyond. I think everybody feels it, and it is a cyclical, wonderful engagement, but most importantly, you will feel it first.
Exactly. It comes to right to our hearts, our heart, mind, and soul. It definitely comes out to us. And again, that sharing, because some of us, too many of us in the world today, we, with all the wars going on, the even our political campaigns that just ended, a lot of negative conversation, to put it politely, that occurred. It's all difficult. So if we can, just the people on this call can share it with someone on this podcast today, and then maybe they can share it with someone else, and just kind of watch it grow. And then if I can ask on your publicity currency, I think I'm hearing a lot of it right now, what you're saying by helping others. It's an advertisement. How else? How else can you elaborate on that publicity currency?
Well, as far as getting publicity, the reality is that as you are seen, what happens is your expertise is elevated. And what happens is that I, well, kind of really go to the front of the line, right? Because people have seen you somewhere, heard you somewhere. There's been interviews with you in all kinds of places and spaces, small and large, by the way, and everything counts. Mark, I heard Jack Canfield speak recently. He, of course, like I mentioned, is Chicken Soup for the Soul. And one of the things he said that helped build his 85 million sales in Chicken Soup was that they did every kinds of publicity, small and large, things they never heard of before. They just kept doing publicity, and it made a huge difference for them.
That is, and that publicity is what we all pay so much for. And when it comes simply, as you mentioned, that's just means so much. Well, let's talk about your guerrilla publicity. It's one of your specialties. Can you share some creative, maybe low-cost ways to get noticed with your, again, tell us a little bit more about guerrilla publicity.
Yeah. Well, Guerrilla Publicity was actually my first book. This is now the third edition. Super excited.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Congratulations.
you. It's been wonderful. And, part of that is I do practice what I preach and do what I tell people to do, right? So, one of the things, and especially now, is getting on podcasts is a wonderful way to get more visibility and have people really pay attention to you. It's just much simpler and easier. So, that's been terrific. And I'm so, grateful for the opportunity of that. That actually publicity in these days is almost, should I say, easier and quicker than it's ever been before. I think that makes a huge difference.
I so agree with you. And I work with helping people in that process of saying it's okay because some people are afraid to get on this camera on a
Yeah.
computer. They're
Yeah.
afraid to speak in front of a room. And then even just to be on a computer looking into this little white dot
Yeah.
is challenging for some people.
Yeah.
But
It
as you're
is.
mentioning, it's so much easier today to talk to others and to share with others and to put a podcast together like this. And again, I'm so glad that you're here. It's really an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much. Grateful to be here.
Well, in a world that often prioritizes speed and efficiency, how can busy professionals integrate kindness into their
Mhm.
daily routines?
So, a couple things. One is look for that one, just one, conscious act of kindness every single day. That'll keep it really simple. And it's all over everywhere, the opportunity to create and do kindness. It really is. And it's not just a holidays thing. This is
That's
every
right.
day, right? Every day. And also pay attention. If you can pick up the profit of kindness, we have 7 return on kindness principles, 2 of which I've already shared with you. Patience. Oh my gosh, in the
Yes.
world today. Can you be more patient? That is kind. Can you be flexible? That's one of the other return on kindness principles. That is kind, right? And so
Yes.
start practicing return on kindness principles. And when you do that, you will see your return on investment come right back to you.
And be able to put that seed out for others. I think that's, again, and I repeat this because the business people I work with, the business professionals I work with, and as you said earlier, kindness, people look at it as it's not the macho, the masculine way to be the boss, but it pays so much in the long run. But people don't realize that's not the way we were raised
Yeah.
in too many ways. Well, what are some of the biggest takeaways participants can get from your publicity crash course or the combined courses that you have?
So the big thing is getting documents done. I have a 30, 60, and 90-day system where we actually write it in the course. So people love that. And have the opportunity to practice your message in interactive breakout sessions. Plus, I'm giving lots of resources and connections to actually get your media done simply, effectively, and easily so that it becomes really a get it done course, and both of them. And that's why people love it so much. Plus, having the media there, oh my gosh,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
imagine that, really hearing from the media. I have a Fox News reporter there. I have a major radio station there. I mean, I have all kinds of podcasters. Imagine just, having that kind of visibility quickly by showing up at an event. Makes a big difference.
Makes a huge difference. And as we look at the media nowadays, I see what you're doing as very positive, but some of our media focuses on some of the negative issues. Are you able to help them grow more positive with what you're doing as you're talking more to the media?
Listen, the fact that I've been on several Fox News networks, I mean, like at least 12 of them now, talking
Wow.
kindness in business, as far as I'm concerned, yes, I'm making a difference because it puts it right in their uh, court, right? I know my most recent one with a Fox News reporter, he said, "Oh my gosh, what a difference you've made, and thank you so much for who you are and the work you're doing in the world. Really made me think differently today. How wonderful is that?
That is excellent. Congratulations. That right there, it makes my day just to help that other person to learn and going forward.
Yes.
But as I talk about that, you also have or had, you're doing growth. You're growing every day, and it's amazing what you're accomplishing. But your VIP coaching program sounds very intensive. Who would benefit most from that program?
Oh my gosh, all kinds of people. I've had high level and just beginning. I've had transitioning people, maybe from corporate to entrepreneurship, which, by the way, is a big jump. And you need lots of firepower under you, which I am, that publicity firepower. So I've had all kinds of people in my VIP consulting days, and I had a shoe company from Texas. I've had a coach who was just starting her business, all kinds of people in different industries, a real estate person who is really, it's all about building your business. And we in that VIP consulting day can really roll up our sleeves and get it done and come out with a great message, an excellent bio, and really the documents you need to create an effective publicity campaign.
And I like what you're saying there too, because that's what we all need in good coaching and good training is not only to share that information, but also to help them keep it going.
Yes,
First week,
absolutely.
2 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, but they'll take that, continue to build on it and grow it forward, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay. Okay. You've worked with over 100,000 clients, right? Can you
Yes,
help us with some of the most common mistakes that people seem to make when it comes to publicity? I mean, we all
um,
make mistakes. I know I make more than anyone. It's part of the process, but over 100,000 clients, I'm sure you've seen a little bit. Help us with some of those most common.
Thank you. I think the big thing is not doing anything. I mean, really, if you don't take a step, you'll just end up in the same place. And I see people, whatever, they're maybe afraid or they don't think they're ready yet. That's another big mistake. You are ready for publicity from the minute you think of your business, or like I call it, a glimmer in your eye, to different phases in your business, no matter how advanced you are. Publicity is always a step to greater success, another elevation, on the ladder up. Because what it does is it elevates your star and your credibility, so that it eliminates competition because people trust you. It builds in an immediate trust. So I'd say big problem is not doing anything or thinking you're not ready, which is a myth entirely.
What are you most passionate about in helping people achieve their publicity goals?
Oh, I love when people get confidence to make a message happen, to do it the right way, to get media attention. I love that. I love when my client the other day called me and said, I had an amazing interview. Thank you so much for your coaching. And another client said to me yesterday, in fact, she said, oh, I so understand now how to work publicity. It was such a mystery before. So I love taking the mystery out of it. I'm passionate about that and helping messengers create messages that really matter, make a difference, and have you have the impact and contribution you deserve.
Wow, that helps all of us, and I know that's one of the things we need. Well, as you're working in it, there's new trends seems like coming out every day. What are some new trends that you're working with or seeing come forward that we need to know about?
Well, great news for all of us is certainly the advent of all the podcasts. I mean, there are so many more opportunities for people to have interviews. Plus, on your social media channels with LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram Lives, all of those live, Facebook Lives, etc., you can control your own media. And now you've got a video and something, exciting, right? So that's super great. I
That
just
is.
seen the opportunity for people to control your own publicity more than ever and actually get more publicity more than ever. When I told you when I wrote The Profit of Kindness, I've been in Inc. magazine and Forbes magazine twice. I also live on, so to speak, on all their internet archives, right? So you get to live on so that people can find you even after your interviews are finished. That didn't happen before.
That is true. And it's so beneficial, as you're saying, to be on archives because with our internet, we can still find it. People can still find you. We just look up, I think everyone should go look up your name on the internet
Yeah,
and find out more about yourself. So as you're saying, when you have news items, if you have advertisements out there in the archive somewhere, people are going to find it, right?
big time.
And
Your publicity will be in front of you, which is where you want it to be. And
yes,
I like to say publicity is the gift that keeps on giving, right? Because it multiplies you and magnetizes you. And, it creates that multiplication factor that brings those prospects back to you.
that is excellent. And again, like you said, you've been on multiple shows, many magazines. Does your program help others be able to do some of those same things?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. Because I am, walking the talk. I'm doing what I tell people to do because I want to make sure that it works in the marketplace. So you bet I'm doing it, walking this path so that others can walk it too.
That is excellent because that's what we want to work with all of us is helping people take that next step. And as you mentioned earlier about to not do anything is the worst thing that any of us can do. But that ability to reach out to you, reach out to me, be able to take us to that next step and somebody they can ask questions to. And
Yes,
your training
exactly.
programs, your ongoing to be able to have somebody reach back out to you and what you're doing. Okay. So, well, let's do this real quick. Start closing. Where can listeners find you online and learn more about your work?
Well, thank you so much. So certainly go to jilllublin.com. And I have a wonderful free gift for all of you because, of course, we've given you some great publicity tips and I want to give you even more.
Wow.
And so I created an action guide for you, as well as an interactive publicity masterclass, completely free and live with me on Zoom. So to get that, you go to jilllublin.com/guide,
Okay.
GUID. And I'm sure you'll include that in the notes.
I can put that in there right now. And right before we get ready to take off, but Jill, if I can spell, sorry about that. Com/what? Guide?
jilllublin.com/guide.
GUIDE. I think I spelled that right. Good deal. All right. Everybody needs to put the three dots at the top to save the chat. Jill, thank you so much. I know we've got things going on and you got so much with you. I'd love to hear more about your next book, but with all the programs things we've got going on, I'd love to have you back sometime soon and let's talk more. I think we're frozen again. But Jill, thank you again. We want to hear more from you. Let's schedule an appointment, maybe after the first quarter of next year. Let's get back together again. All right, everybody, this is Mark. I have lost me there. Get hold of JillLublin.com and find out more. You look at her guide and see what you can do next. Thank you all so very much, Jill. Thank you again. It's a pleasure talking to you and I hope you have happy holidays. And we'll see everybody again soon. We'll be on next week, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern, next Thursday. Talk to you then. Have a happy new year. Cheers. Happy holidays.